Selling your home in 2024 might be a little different than in previous years. As interest rates are increasing and less buyers are in the market, there are a few things you'll need to do differently to make sure you sell your home for the most amount of money in 2024. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Victor with How to Sell Your Home, and we put out videos every week about just that, helping you sell your home. Whether you're looking for a real estate agent to help you with your home sale or you're thinking about doing it on your own, we'd be happy to help with your questions. Feel free to call or text us anytime. All of our contact information is in the description below. Thank you so much to everybody who has reached out. We're always happy to help. Right now, let's talk about what it looks like to sell your home in 2024. To really get a good idea of what it's like currently, we kind of have to back up a little bit to like 2021, 2022 to talk about what that was like, because a lot of sellers even today still think that we are in the market of post-COVID, 2021, where there were a ton of buyers and the interest rates were at 3% and anybody could sell their home and it would sell super quickly. And unfortunately, it's not quite like that anymore. Back then, it didn't matter what the condition of the home was. Almost every listing had multiple offer situations and bidding wars, and you really could only buy a home with like a conventional loan or cash because nobody wanted to take FHA or VA back then, where there were so many buyers. Now it's a bit more common to accept an FHA loan or a VA loan because there are less buyers today. And there are certainly some things that home sellers need to do differently now that they didn't have to do back then in 21 and 22. So let's talk about a few of those things that are more important today in 2024 than they have been in the past. Hands down, one of the biggest differences that we need to do when selling a home is that the home should be as close to move-in ready as possible. As we're seeing less buyers on the market, we're really seeing two different kinds of homes. There are the move-in ready homes that sell very quickly, and then there are the homes that need work, the ones that aren't necessarily move-in ready. And which one of those two categories your home falls in really determines what strategy you should use for selling your home. The closer you can get your home to being move-in ready, the better chance you have. Because while we have less buyers right now, for the most part, they're all going for those move-in ready homes. What we're seeing in many markets across the US is that those homes that are move-in ready, they still tend to go off the market much more quickly than the ones that need some TLC. If your home is in that category where you kind of need a little bit of work, or maybe the home is not quite move-in ready, those homes tend to stay on the market a bit longer. Some of the best ways to get your home move-in ready, or the best investments that you can make on your home with the best return, would be things like a paint job. Just a simple interior paint job on your home goes a long way to making the home feel fresh and feel move-in ready. Also, flooring is a big one. If you have carpet in your home, which is super common here where I live, it's still crazy to me that so many people have carpet here, but replacing carpet, or at least new carpet if it's super popular, or replacing that with LVP is a really popular material that people are using for flooring, or hardwoods or tile. Any kind of new flooring really goes a long way, especially if the flooring that is currently in your home has a lot of wear and tear. That return on investment is great, new flooring. Now, exterior paint, like paint on the outside of the home, that's not really the kind of investment that I would be making on a home if I was trying to sell it. That cost is much higher, and you're not necessarily going to improve the value of the home. Unless, of course, the home that you're trying to sell is like pink, then maybe you should change it to like a more neutral color. But if it's any kind of neutral color, the exterior paint job is not something that I would put a lot of money into. A really good one is like curb appeal, putting a couple $100 or $1,000 into just some potted plants or something. Curb appeal is a really great return on investment and really goes a long way. You really want to think about like what the photographer is going to see. When you take pictures of the home, the things that are going to look the best in the pictures, those are really the best return on investment, because those pictures and those videos that they're going to get of the home to get it ready to sell are really one of the biggest factors when it comes to selling your home. The more people that see the home, the more amount of money that you're going to get for the home. And you want to see the home in its best light. So all of these things, flooring and paint and curb appeal, light fixtures is another big one. All of that really is the best kind of return that you can get when selling your home in 2024. One big one that we get a lot of people asking us is who pays the closing costs? So when you are selling your home and now that it's 2024, who's paying closing costs today? Well, currently we're seeing that many buyers are still paying their own closing costs, but this is slowly starting to creep a little bit more towards the seller side. As interest rates are increasing and closing costs are increasing, home prices are also increasing, which means down payments are increasing. And so sometimes buyers are not able to afford all of these upfront costs when buying a home. And as we're seeing less buyers and more upfront costs, this is kind of shifting a little bit more towards being a buyer's market in some parts of the United States. We're seeing those places, the sellers are starting to pay more of the closing costs, not necessarily all of the closing costs. And again, it kind of depends on where you are and the circumstances of your home sale. But we're seeing a little by little where home sellers are starting to pay those closing costs. But still, for the most part, buyers are still, the majority of them, paying for their closing costs. If we completely switch to a buyer's market in the next couple years, then I would assume that a lot more sellers will be paying for the buyer's closing costs. If it remains a seller's market, that is to say there are less sellers than there are buyers. So if it's a seller's market, I would assume that buyers would be able to continue paying for their closing costs. So it really depends on those two factors. There's certainly some of the biggest ones. One of the most hot button issues that we're seeing this year is the NAR settlement, National Association of Realtors. This settlement really is affecting a lot of home sellers, and we're really seeing some differences in the commissions that are being paid out and who's paying those commissions. So in 2021, 2022, and far before that, it was mostly common for the seller to pay for both the seller's agent's commission and the buyer's agent's commission. So when you were buying a home, you usually didn't pay for any of the commissions. Again, you had a lot of other upfront costs. Because the upfront cost of selling a home is less for the sellers, they tend to pay for both agents' commissions. Now that we're in 2024 and we've had this settlement with the National Association of Realtors, we're seeing that that cost of the commissions is starting to be split up more and more, and buyers little by little are starting to pay for their own agent's commission. Again, each area, each part of the US is different. If you're considering selling your home and you want to talk to a listing agent in your specific area, we have an entire nationwide network of agents who would be happy to help you sell your home. I'd be happy to find one who is a badass agent who can make sure we get the most amount of money for your home. Feel free to call or text anytime. But where you are and the practices for the specific area that you're in is going to determine whether or not you're paying for all of the commission or a portion of the commission, or if the buyer is paying for any of that commission. So it all kind of depends on where you are. Another thing that is getting easier in 2024 is listing your home for sale. Places like Zillow and Realtor.com, Redfin, Trulia, all of these places are great places for you to list your home for sale. You don't really need the MLS. You don't have to have a listing agent who's going to put the home on the MLS. It could help to have a listing agent, but it's certainly not required. It's definitely not necessary. You can pay Zillow and Realtor.com those flat fees to list your home for sale on there. And of course, that's where all the buyers are looking for their next home, on those websites. So those are really the best place to list your home for sale. And then a common question that we get is, when it comes time to close on the home that you're selling, who pays off your mortgage? Like, do you need to take that money and pay off your mortgage? Well, the answer is that when you get to the closing table, the closing attorney who is handling the transfer of the title to the buyer, they will collect that payment from the buyer and or their lender. And then before they pay you your portion of the proceeds from the sale of the home, they will first send the amount of money that you need to pay off your mortgage. They'll pay the mortgage company before they give you your portion. So they're going to also need to collect information on your mortgage so that they can reach out to your mortgage company to pay that off. Any other debts associated with the home will be paid first, and then they will give you your portion. So not necessarily anything that you need to take care of. The closing attorney who the buyer is paying for is going to take care of that for you. And then one of the biggest factors in 2024 for how much money you get when you're selling your home is how long it's on the market before a buyer gives you an offer and you accept that offer. Real estate agents often call this days on market, refers to the amount of days that a listing is on the market before going under contract. If you have less days on market than average, then you tend to get more money for the home, maybe higher than the list price. If your listing or your home is on the market longer than average, then you tend to get below list price or less money for the home. So making sure that the home is sold quickly, especially this year as we're seeing less buyers, is absolutely more important than ever before, making sure that home is sold quickly. And there are a few things that you can do to ensure that your home is sold quickly. In fact, I made an entire video about just that. If you want to see that video, you can check it out right here. I'll see you in the next video.